Once upon a time in ancient Egypt there lived two brothers, one named Truth and the other named Falsehood. Truth was a kind, humble person who lived a simple life, while his brother Falsehood was the complete opposite and told many lies. The brothers lived together on a farm which had a large herd of cattle. One day Truth needed a knife to cut some rope. A fence had been broken and he needed to fix it to stop cattle running away. He found a knife in the barn. It was a plain knife with a sharp blade made of flint and a bone handle. It was a good quality knife fit for the job of cutting rope, but was not expensive. Truth knew the knife belonged to his brother, but he didn't think that Falsehood would mind him using it. So he took it and started fixing the fence. The fence that Truth was fixing was right next to a cliff, and while doing his job, Truth dropped the knife and it fell down the cliff and was lost forever. Knowing it was not a special knife, Truth did not think his brother would mind. However, when Falsehood found out his knife had been lost, he was furious and sent for the local police to arrest him. The police took Truth to jail, and the next day the two brothers were in court. Falsehood lied to the court. "My knife was huge. The blade was made of bronze and was the size of a mountain. Its handle was made of trees from a sacred wood, and its scabbard was made by the gods. Without my knife I shall be so sad." He pleaded with the court that as punishment, Truth's eyes should be cut out and he should be made to be the doorkeeper for Falsehood's house. Hearing Falsehood's story, the judges agreed with him, and a group of soldiers came into the court and cut out both of Truth's eyes. He was then sentenced to wait forever outside the door to his brother's house. For many days and nights, Truth stood outside his brother's door. It was his job to check everyone going in or coming out of the house. Truth was good at his job, and his brother grew angry that he did not appear to be suffering. So he called for two of his servants. He told his servants to capture Truth in a sack and take him to where the lions live and leave him on his own there. The next evening, when everyone except Truth was sleeping, the two servants crept up behind him and pulled a sack over him. They tied the sack up, put him on their shoulders, and ran off into the night with him. Eventually, the servants came to the lions' hunting grounds. They took the bag off Truth and shoved him to the floor. Truth fell onto the ground and begged with the servants, "Please, why am I here? What have I done to deserve this?" "These are Falsehood's orders. You are in the land of the lions, and he expects you to be eaten by them." But, how can you carry out this awful deed? I am a simple man. I did not lose that knife on purpose. It was an accident," cried Truth. Hearing Truth's pleas for mercy, the servants took pity on him. They picked him up and turned him to face a direction away from the land of the lions. "Walk in that direction and keep going. This will take you away from the lions." Then the two servants left him and hurried back to their master. "Well, tell me of my brother's fate," barked Falsehood. "Master, we saw with our own eyes that a lion ate your brother Truth." "Good," Falsehood said with an evil grin. For many days and nights, Truth walked and walked, not knowing where he was or where he was going. He walked into a bush and felt around it with his hands. He thought he would be safe, so he crawled under the bush and went to sleep. The next morning, a lady left her house and looked around her garden. She saw Truth sleeping underneath one of her bushes. So she walked over, and as soon as she laid eyes on him properly, she fell madly in love with him. She called her maids over, and they carried him into her house. She fed him and gave him water, and healed any wounds he had. Within a few days, Truth was back to full health and was given the job as doorkeeper to the lady's house. Soon the lady of the house was so taken with Truth that she had a baby boy with him. This boy was no ordinary boy, and was big and strong. Some people thought he was a god. He was sent to school and excelled at all his classes. He mastered writing and practiced the art of war with the other pupils, and was better than even the older children. All was not great for the boy, as the lady of the house never told him that Truth was his father, and he grew up never knowing. Because of this, his schoolmates used to make fun of him and tease him. One day, when the boy got home, he could not stand it any more and begged his mother to tell him. "You see that blind man standing by the door? That is your father," said the lady. Shocked at this information, he looked at his father Truth with a mixture of joy and sadness. "How could you treat my father so badly, making him stand there night and day? How could you never tell me that he was my father? You should summon a crocodile and have it eat you because of your lies." The boy walked over to Truth and gave him a big hug. Then brought him a fine chair and a soft footstool and placed food on his lap. "Father, who was it that blinded you? Tell me so that I may avenge you." "Ah, my boy, I'm so happy you finally know who I am. It was my younger brother Falsehood who blinded me. All because I lost a knife." Then Truth told him the whole story. The boy, angered by his father's story, hatched a cunning plan. He set out to his uncle's farm and brought with him many things: 10 loaves of bread, a staff, a water skin, a sword, and a good pair of sandals. He also took with him the finest ox he could find. It almost glowed with beauty. When he arrived at Falsehood's farm, he looked around the fields until he saw the herdsman his uncle paid to look after his cattle. He approached them and said, "Hello there, my friends. I must make a journey into the local town, but I cannot take this ox with me. If I give you everything I am carrying, will you look after it for me until I return?" The herdsman agreed, so the boy left the ox with the herdsman and strolled off towards the town. A few months later, the ox was still with the herdsman when Falsehood walked over to them. He saw the beautiful ox and became ravenous with hunger. "You there, give me that ox so that I may eat it." "I'm sorry, my lord, but it's not ours to give. We have been paid to look after it." "When the owner comes back, just give him one of mine as payment. He can take whichever he wishes." The boy heard that Falsehood had taken his ox, so when he went back to where the herdsmen were, "Where is my ox? I cannot see it amongst the others. Has something bad happened to it?" The herdsman explained what had happened, and that he could choose any ox as a replacement. "My ox was as big as a mountain, with horns so great they could touch the mountains in the east and the west. It would also make 60 calves a day." "We don't have anything like that, what you were describing," laughed the herdsman. So the boy marched to Falsehood's farm and called the police. Falsehood argued and argued that what the boy was describing was not true, so the boy and Falsehood went to court. When they were in the courthouse, the boy described the ox in exactly the same way he had to the herdsman. The court fell around laughing at him. "Boy, what you are saying to us is a lie. No such ox ever existed, and none shall ever exist." With a glint in his eye, the boy yelled, "The blade was made of bronze and was the size of a mountain. Its handle was made of trees from a sacred wood, and its scabbard was made by the gods." The court fell silent for a moment. "What do you mean by this, boy?" "I am the son of Truth. My uncle who is standing here described his knife that my uncle lost, and you believed him. I have come for the justice of my father." Falsehood laughed. "My brother Truth died a long time ago, way before this boy would have been born. I swear an oath to this court and to the gods that if I am lying, my eyes shall be cut out. Don't believe me? Come, Let us go and visit my father. He shall prove what you have done." The boy, the court, and Falsehood all went to the lady's house, and there they all saw Truth sitting on his chair at the door of the lady's house. The court grew sombre, knowing what the wrong they had done. They looked at Falsehood and declared his punishment. "You have broken your oath and lied to us once again. We shall not be tricked a second time. Your eyes will be cut out and you shall be beaten. Your house and lands shall be given to your brother Truth, and you will be his doorkeeper until the day you die."